All right, this is the first video in my modulation series on how to modulate from any key to any other key, and basically why keys don't really matter. You can modulate from C to F sharp, C major to F sharp minor, C minor to F sharp major, C minor to A major. You can go anywhere you want, okay? And it's really easy to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it. A lot of composers get stuck in writing diatonic music. If they're in C minor, they'll just stick to C minor, A flat, F minor, G major, B flat, E flat. There's all these diatonic sounds that frankly aren't very interesting. And I'm going to show you how to add a lot of color and just add a lot of unpredictability to your music. All right, so let's get started. Okay, first we're going to establish our key, which is F minor. Okay, now let's just listen to the melody. So pretty boring melody, right? Just 3/4 half notes followed by a quarter note, no rhythmic variation. Only 5 notes. We got C, D flat, D, E flat, and E. That's it. Nothing interesting, no big leaps. But we're gonna color it and make it a little bit more interesting. And maybe your ear already starts to hear some harmony and some color that you can add yourself. So we're going to take it in steps. I'm going to do a basic diatonic version, and then we'll expand into a very colorful non-diatonic version. Okay, let's start with the basics. Okay, so in this first example, we're just going to use 3 chords. We're going to use the 1, the 2, and the 5. And the 2 is, of course, the secondary dominant of the 5 chords. So we're just going to use F minor, G major, and C major. Okay, so now we're starting to build a little bit of a harmonic structure. We have kind of a skeleton of the piece, of the melody, right? We know where we're modulating to. In this case, we're just going to C major. So we need that G, we need that secondary dominant. That's why you see the D naturals and then the E naturals, okay, because we're in a new key. So let's think about this melody starts on a C natural, okay? Let's think about what chords have C natural in them. Okay, we've got F is the 5 of F. Okay, A flat is the 3, and C, it's the tonic. Okay, we've also got, think about D, it's the dominant 7. Okay, in D flat, it's the major 7. Okay, A minor, it's the minor 3rd. F sharp, G flat, it's the sharp 11, flat 5, sharp 4. However you want to look at it. There's a lot of options we have. All right, so instead of starting this in F minor with on the 5th scale degree, we're going to start it on the major 7 of D flat. Okay, just to add a little bit of color, because we already have the melody established, and now we just get to play around with the harmony. So let's see what it sounds like when we start the piece in D flat major. Okay, so now it's starting to take some shape. It's got a little bit more color. We've got a major 7 in there. The only thing is, if you'll notice, there's parallel octaves, okay? So you have to be careful about when changing from one chord to another chord that's a half step away, either up or down, or that you don't get parallel octaves, okay? And so in order to fix that, if you notice in the bass, you have the D flat going down to a C, and in the melody, you have D flat going down to a C. So you get rid of that, okay? So instead of going down to C, let's try going down to the first inversion of C, okay, which is C over E. And this is a very common chord progression. Actually, these first 2 chords I blatantly stole from John Williams in the first 2 chords of the credits for E.T. It's literally he just D flat major 7 down to C over E. I think the D flat his is Lydian though. He has a G natural in there, but it doesn't matter. This is, if it works, it works, right? So we're gonna, instead of going from D flat major 7 down to C, we're gonna go C over E, and I'm just gonna add a little bit more flavor. And there's also a reason we're doing that, because the next chord from the E, we're gonna go up a half step back to F minor. Okay, so it's just a nice little stepwise progression. All right, let's check it out. Now we're back on F minor, okay? And we still have the note C in the melody. Now we did the major 7, okay? We can go to A minor and have it be the third. We can go to A flat, have it be the major third. We can go to E and have it be the augmented fifth. We can go to G flat, F sharp, have it be the flat 5, sharp 4. We can go to B flat and have it be the major second. We can go to B minor or B natural or B major and have it be the flat 9. There's so many different things we can do, okay? But we have this C note, and we've already done the dominant, we've already done the major 7. Let's try the dominant 7, only because the left hand is currently playing an F. And if we go to D dominant 7, we can just move the F up to F sharp, and we'll create a 6/5 chord. Okay, it's not diatonic to F minor at all, but it doesn't matter. Okay, we're exploring different harmonic colors. We're going to different places that you don't plan to go. So what we're doing right now is we're going from F minor. Now we're just going to play a D dominant 7 chord in first inversion. All right, let's try it. Okay, so now we've landed on this big, strong, dominant 7 chord. Okay, we got the D7 over F sharp. And if you've taken a music theory course or you just know a little bit about harmony, you know that there's only one place that this chord wants to go, okay? The F sharp wants to resolve up to G, and the C natural, the dominant 7, wants to resolve down to B, okay, or B flat. But in this case, we're going to keep it natural. So we're going to resolve that D dominant 7 over F sharp down to G natural and see what that sounds like. Okay, and then where does G want to go? It wants to go to C, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to resolve the D dominant 7 to G and then the G to C, and that will finish the phrase that we're on right now. Okay, let's check it out and see how it sounds. Okay, so we're almost done. Now we're just going to add one more little interesting flavor to this. Instead of just going from G to C, which is pretty boring, let's think about what chords the note E uses, okay? Because we're landing on that E note, all right? We have A major or minor, it's the 5, okay? We've got C major, it's the third. C sharp minor, it's the minor third. We've got E, it's the tonic. E flat, okay, it's the flat 9. We've got F, it's the major 7. Okay, we've got G flat, F sharp, it's the dominant 7. We can use anything really that we want. But in this case, I want to keep it, I did a little playing around and I found that landing on A major sounds the best. And so we're going to use that E note in the melody to be the 5th scale degree of A major, okay? So how do we get to A from G? Well, we can just go up a whole step, but then you run into parallel octaves again, okay? We can't go from G to A without running into, we got G and D, and then we just go up to A and E. You're gonna run into parallel octaves and parallel fifths, okay? The same thing if we go from G to G sharp to A, or G to A flat A, however you want to think about it. So the best way to do it is to go chromatically G, G sharp. Now what chords can we make G sharp, can we make out of G sharp that are going to resolve to A? Well, the 5 chord, okay, which is of course E major, okay, and the G sharp is the third of E major. So we're just going to go from G to some kind of E7 chord with a G sharp in the left hand and then land on A, all right? And now we're in A major, we started in F minor. It's that simple. You just find another chord that that note in the melody resides in, and you just play it. And a lot of it is experimentation on the piano just to see what sounds good. Yeah, so let's hear how it sounds. Okay, so now we have the final chord structure of our composition, and let's embellish it with some eighth notes and some, some Alberti bass, and we'll turn it into an actual piece of music, okay? And there we have it. We modulated from F minor to A major, even though we started on the flat 6, which, I mean, D flat major to A major is still an interesting modulation, but we did it. We just found a stepwise motion up chromatically, we found a way to do it. We landed on that F minor, and then we had that D dominant 7 over F sharp going up a half step, which resolved to the G. We'll go up another half step with the E dominant 7 over G sharp, which resolves to the A. It just worked. It was very fluid, and we turned a really boring melody into something with a lot of color. And if you want to hear more, that melody is based on something that I wrote about a year ago, and I will link the video in the description, and I'll try to put one of those, I don't know, cue cards or whatever, in the video, so you can click on it and watch it if you want to hear the whole piece of music. I like it. I'm proud of it. This is my first video. If you like it, I plan on doing a lot more of these. If you have feedback, if you like the format, and yeah, well, I'll see you on episode 2 of Modulation. Okay.